I'm Travis Pratt, and this is my show, The Joplin Paintings, at the Leedy-Voulkos Art Center in Kansas City, Missouri. This is a painting on canvas called Stairs. This is a painting of my dad. And a car, acrylic on board. I took most of these photographs the first hour I was in Joplin in June, almost a month after the tornado had actually hit. In this painting, I actually worked from a photoshopped picture. These are all based off my own photographs and a couple that my mother took. This is a painting of my dad's mom, Grandma Dee's, which was kind of in the middle of the devastation. Little self-portrait sign. There's some transfers and newspaper in the rubble here. My grandma used to keep her elephant collection in this cabinet here, so there's a little reference to that in this picture she used to have above her chair. The two horses with the lightning bolt. This is a picture of my brother Craig Pratt's trailer with my cousin Crystal's burning in the background. His was more or less fine, just kind of leaning, and hers was just reduced to nothing. So one day my grandpa set it on fire. Actually, to keep the fire from spreading to these trees in the background, he had to drive his bulldozer in to dig up some of the dirt to keep it from spreading, and he ended up getting pneumonia and was in intensive care for a while. Kind of a reference here to folding screens. These are both acrylic on panel to actually door panels. This is sort of like a closet door that you might even find in a trailer like this, or just a middle-class house. The car is actually painted with auto paint, and I used Bondo to build up the surface and sanded it down, just like you would when you were painting a car. Some fabric border that's mimicked by a hand-cut border on the other side. These two weren't, this house wasn't family property, but it was just an image I liked. My grandpa's old house. He built this in '63. My mom and her sisters grew up there. This is my grandpa's current house, just after the storm. And his kitchen. This is the other side of Craig's house. This is what was burning in the background. My grandpa owned storage units that got hit too, so this is kind of this is a picture of the storage units after the storm, and then, you know, things I carried along with me for years attached to this frame I found when I lived in Harlem. That's acrylic on canvas, and so is this. The interior of the house, Grandpa's old house, the one he built in '63, which is also pictured in these two larger ones on canvas over here. This one's called Set List. It's got little pictures of all the different pictures used in the show. Try to get it. There we go. To make most of the work in here, especially the big work, I moved back to Joplin from New York and worked in this basement here, my grandpa's current house. There's references to different places that I like to go, little retreats. My mom's place in Iowa here, and grandpa's place in Alaska. And inside the painting is another painting of what the basement used to look like when my cousin Justin lived there. And that's him pictured in the center. Another acrylic on 3 doors there. This was my grandma Ruby's house with the Joplin High School in the background. This was my dad's grandma. There's a good view of the width of the tornado damage. You can see across to the other tree line. This sign sat on a chair in my grandpa's driveway for years until I brought it into my studio. It had all 4 legs at first, but kind of rotted down. This is my cousin Justin's old fish tank and just a pile of junk that was moved and never really touched. And this is my cousin Justin Scott's trailer, where he lived with his family for over a decade. I spent a lot of time hanging out here. And then a small postcard or a set of stamps here, all these hand-painted versions of the same trailer, Justin's, from the opposite angle. And this is titled Stamps.